Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other.
Hi, Doug.
Hey, Michelle. Great to see you. Let's go chat. This is Jessop's Journal. Michelle, it is time to sign into Jessop's Journal. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, wearing number 19 from Pepperdine University, Michelle Maemone.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Great to see you on Jessop's Journal.
Thanks for having me.
So I tried to do a little announcing thing, and what in the world, what's number 19? Why should people even know that?
Well, that is the number I wear for the Utah Royals. When I got to the team and was able to pick a number, that was one that really stuck out to me, and it was one that was available. And so that's the number that I wear, and it's kind of cool because it's the year I graduated from college. It's the year I got drafted, and number 9 was kind of significant for me growing up. It's the number I wore, and so I was like, that's close enough. So number 19 is what I wear.
And what sport are we talking here?
Women's soccer.
Women's soccer.
Yeah.
So, number 1, congratulations. That's
Thank
pretty dang
you.
awesome. So, Pepperdine, to me, sounds like, okay, you probably grew up somewhere in the Bay Area or something like that?
I did, up in San Jose in a little suburb called the Almaden Valley.
Okay. What was it like growing up?
I loved growing up there. I'm really close with my family. I'm the youngest of 3, and grew up going to all my siblings' games, and that's kind of how I fell in love with the game myself.
Wow.
And soon became a passion of mine and stuck with it through college, and that's why I'm here today. But I absolutely loved growing up in the Bay Area. So beautiful. I love California. It's changed a lot since I was young. It's gotten more fast-paced.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of big corporate businesses have come in. So it has changed pretty drastically. It was more slow-paced when I was younger, and I miss that part of it.
Yeah.
But overall, I have so many memories. I grew up living in the same house pretty much my whole life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I have vivid memories of playing hockey with the boys. I was like the only young girl in my neighborhood, so played all the sports with all the boys, and so fun. So.
Interesting. So the question is, okay, if you were to play with, is it brothers, I guess, then?
I have an older sister and an older brother.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So can they score on you?
Can they score on me? Well, I'm not sure how my goalie skills are, but defensively, I think they'd struggle. My brother's really tall, and both my siblings were great soccer players. My sister was a goalie, my brother was a defender.
Oh, wow.
I was a forward my whole life until I started playing defense in college, and so I don't know. I actually have not gone 1v1 with them.
Oh, sounds like there might be a challenge here.
I know. I might have to do that at some point.
So I remember when my daughters were playing soccer, and I mean, we affectionately called it swarm ball. I mean, I think she was like 4 or 5 years old out there picking dandelions and everything. Was there any kind of event where you're going, this is what I want to do?
Honestly, I don't know if there was like this kind of moment where this passion was like awakened in me. I think it was something that I loved to do since before I can remember. My mom actually took a picture of me sitting in a pile of balls before I could walk. So
Really?
I think that paints a really good picture of just how soccer has been such a big influence in my life, and it's been something that I've done for so long. And like I said, I don't think there was a single moment, but there were definitely times throughout my career where I realized how much I loved it, to where I was wanting to continue on to play in college and potentially have a chance of playing pro. I did have those dreams when I was young. I can still remember telling my dad when I was like 6 or 7 that I wanted to be a professional soccer player. And
Really?
Yep. And, did I really think that dream was going to come true? I think when I was young, yes. But as I got older and you realize the competition and how tough it is, I wasn't sure if I was going to get an opportunity. And I'm very, very thankful that I did. And it's kind of just reaffirmed that this is something that I really do love. And it's something that I would love to dedicate my time to continuing to grow in and continue to pursue and So it's really been a dream. Yeah.
So so you play for the Utah Royals FC?
Yes.
Okay. Football club, if I remember correctly. So how many teams are there?
So there's 9 teams in the league.
Okay.
And so it's a pretty small league, which means, there's not a ton of opportunity.
Right.
So in the draft, it's 36 girls get chosen, and there's 4 rounds.
Yeah.
And there's a really pretty big amount of, there's a big number of girls that enter. So getting drafted it's pretty difficult. And I put my name in super last minute into the draft. I wasn't actually planning on doing it.
Okay.
I kind of had decided my senior year that it was going to be my last year playing. And little did I know that it wasn't going to be my last year. I didn't think anybody really knew who I was. Pepperdine's a great program, but our conference is pretty small.
Right.
And I wasn't sure if I was going to have an opportunity. I wasn't really acknowledged throughout the conference. I wasn't an All-American. I wasn't first team All-League. But I was a part of some really, probably I think 2 of the best teams Pepperdine has had in their history of the 26 years that it's existed. And just kind of in the background, which I love that because I played because I love to play. So when the draft came around and I ended up getting drafted, I wasn't even at the draft. I was in class.
Yeah. Hey, got a text, by the way. You got a new job or what?
I kept getting this call from a number I didn't know.
Okay, and of course you're not going to answer
and
that.
I wasn't going to answer
right?
because I was watching, and it was actually our coaches, the coaches for Utah.
Uh-huh.
And I was declining their call, and they were going to tell me that they were going to draft me.
Uh-huh.
And I had made this joke with my coaches because my coaches were at the draft. And I told them, I was like, if I get drafted, just FaceTime me so I could see my picture up on the big draft board as a joke. And Amanda Duffy gets up there to, say who Utah picks with their first pick of the draft. And right as they're about to say my name, I get a FaceTime call from my coaches, and it's my picture up on the draft board. And it was like immediate tears because I really...
Very cool.
Thank you.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
It's an exciting story, and I think it just I hope it gives some type of hope to girls who maybe weren't acknowledged, or girls who don't think anybody knows who you are. All it takes is one person. All it takes is one person to see you and see something in you that they believe in and are willing to give you an opportunity and a chance and just run with it.
Okay, really off the wall question. What class were you in when you got this?
So funny, because I was actually just about to go into my voice class.
Yeah.
I had to take one elective to fill my requirements, and so I decided to take a voice class. I love music.
Really?
Yeah, and so my teacher, she was teaching a class right when I was drafted, and she just heard me crying outside because I was so excited. And her students, everyone was they were worried. They thought something happened, serious. But when I got in there, I told her what happened, and she was just ecstatic for me. And
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, geez, I'm tempted to see if you want to sing for us now.
Oh, no, oh gosh.
Yeah, I have done that before. So what kind of music do you like?
My music taste is very wide. I love a ton of different music. My brother's actually a professional musician.
Really?
Yep. So he has had incredible opportunities with that. And I actually, just a little bit of my story prior to going to college, I had back-to-back ACL tears. So I was out pretty much my sophomore, junior, senior year of high school. And my comeback year was my freshman year at Pepperdine. So in that time frame, I taught myself how to play guitar. My brother was super encouraging.
Really?
I needed an outlet, and soccer had been that outlet for me since I was really young. And it was the first time in my life that I didn't have it. And so I started to just cling to music, and it was amazing because I actually saw how that whole experience set me up for something in college. I ended up leading worship at our athlete chapels at Pepperdine. And yeah, so that's just a little background on my music story. But my music taste is very wide. I love oldie classics. I love Elton John, Billy Joel. I'm a big fan of alternative kind of band music. And I love the 1975, The Head and the Heart, Dermot Dermot Kennedy. So many different. It's hard to. I have so many artists that I love.
Very cool.
But I love music. It's been something that has been really big in my life. So.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to talk about that again later sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
But so you mentioned worship. It sounds like your faith is something important to you.
Yes.
You want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would not. I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for the strength that I believe God really instilled within me. Just things that have happened in my life and things that have happened in my family's lives. I've just seen God's, just like the grace that he has for us and the love that he has for us. And I grew up in a Christian home. My parents are like the most amazing people that I know, and I still am like blown away that they're mine. And the siblings that I have too. I've been surrounded by the most incredible people my whole life that have encouraged me to pursue the things that I love and to always never lose sight of the fact that my identity is never in what I do, but it's in Christ, and it's in who he says I am. And I think my faith really became my own when I got into high school. I had a really cool experience where I think I really was made aware of the sin in my life and the things that I was a part of, the things that I was doing that were not indicative of what I believe in. And when I got to college, I saw that even more so. My eyes were really opened to just the life that I was living, and I felt like here I am leading worship, and then some of the acts that I was doing and the actions that I was taking were not indicative of what I believed in. And I had kind of hit this turning point where I was like, I want my life to be a reflection, because I want people who are curious and who are searching for God, to be able to look at me and be like, that's how I want to live. And not that I'm perfect by any means, because I make so many mistakes and I'm so imperfect, but I think it's realizing that and realizing God's redemptive power and his sovereignty. I mean, it's changed my life and has just awakened my eyes to realizing that anything good that comes in my life is not my doing, but it's completely been in the plan. And the bad things that have happened, it's not that God makes those happen, but he's allowed them to happen, and we grow from those experiences. And so that's just a little background on my faith.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I wonder, because now you're, like it or not, you're a public figure. Okay, so so when you're saying you want to be reflective of your faith, but the other thing is, okay, you've also got probably a lot of young girls that are going, geez, I want to be like Michelle. Okay, has that hit you yet?
There was this one moment after a game when we were signing autographs. Okay. And I'll never forget, it was after our third game, and I wear a Lululemon headband. Like I've always worn them. Okay. And this one girl was like, "Can I have your headband?" And I was like, "You want my headband? Mine? Like, that's significant to you?" And so I took it off and I gave it to her, and I realized, I can't do this every game. These are like kind of expensive. But in that moment, and then that's kind of when things changed, like signing autographs and people wanting to take a picture with you. And this one guy came up to me and had my jersey, and I was like, oh my goodness, I've never had someone buy my jersey. Like, that is just crazy to me. And then there's this one picture I have of me taking a picture with like this group of little girls. And I just have vivid memories of being on the other side of that. Yeah. Not that long ago. And remembering what it was like to dream of being on the other side as the player taking the picture with the girls. Right. And you know how before you head out onto the field to play, you're holding like a little girl's hand. Again, I was that little girl not that long ago. And here I am, like, ready to go play a game in this professional setting, and I'm holding this little girl's hand who's probably dreaming of being on the other side. And I can't even put it into words, but it's really amazing. And again, it's like when you are given these opportunities, a lot of responsibility comes with it. Oh, yeah. And I've realized that And I look at it as like such a blessing and such a platform that God has allowed to come into my life. And ultimately, I think if I'm using it to glorify Him, then really the sky's the limit. I'm like, God, I'm going to have this platform for as long as you want me to. And when soccer, the door closes, I'll be okay with it because, again, my identity, it's not in what I do, but it's in who I am in Him. And that kind of ties my faith back into that. But yeah, it's been surreal for sure, just being on the other side.
Well, one of the things that we like to look at, and one of our underwriters is Rustico, and they make these special journals, and they have a little phrase that says "leave your mark." So, like for example, my journal, the normal journal, and they made one for you. It's nice and smooth and everything, but no, mine's got the scars and everything because they handmade it for me, and it kind of, to me, shows that life comes with scars. It's just those marks that come along with life. But the other thing I look at is, to me, leave your mark also is kind of your legacy. Now, granted, you're starting your career and everything, and you were doing it spectacularly, but how does Michelle want to leave your mark?
I mean, first and foremost, when I think of leaving my mark, I want to be remembered as someone of character that spans across everything that I do. And I think with that, when you are a person of character, the attributes that you hold dear and that you want to practice are things that I think can really like set you apart in some ways when it comes to competing. And when I think of the things, it's like being someone that your teammates never doubt if you're working hard, working your absolute hardest. They never doubt that you that you don't have their back. Like they know that you do. And being someone that, like you said, like little girls look up to, and they're like, that's who I want to be.
Yeah.
And not just as a soccer player, because again, like it's soccer is has been an amazing thing in my life, but it will come to an end at some point. And so I want to be someone that that's the type of person that I want to be. And I'm not perfect by any means, very far from it, but I would love to just be someone that, again, people look at and they see as someone of faith and someone who really loves the people around them and cares deeply about the people they're with. And it's not just about competing. Right. It's a lot more than that for me. And I think that's the mark that I'd like to leave.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Jessop's Journal.
Thank you for having me.
Michelle, thanks again for coming on today. We have some lovely parting gifts from our underwriters. Okay, first off, it's Jessop's Journal. So we got to get a journal, not with my name, but with yours. And the folks at Rustico made that very thing right there. I hope they spelled it right. Okay, got it?
They got it.
Oh, beautiful. Ed likes to say these pens write themselves. So you got your own little Rustico pen. I wear a hat every single day. My official hatter is, of course, JW Custom Hats. They're going to make you your very own hat. It'd be a blast, I tell you. The other thing is I love plants, and to make those plants look good, you got to have some liquid dirt. And these guys are actually going to give you this particular string garden plant. And then lastly, we got some adult beverages from the folks at Five Wives. Michelle, the thing I want people to remember is that stories have power. They help us understand each other. With another entry into Jessop's Journal and Michelle Maemone, I'm Doug Jessop, ABC4 News.